that could not then be solved by the official delegations in Washington. What changed everything was the readiness to recognize the PLO. And this was the readiness of Rabin through the process of the months of '93. Once it was a mutual recognition between the State of Israel and the PLO, then it became the main show, and the talks in Washington became secondary. There is a big change in the situation, and the big change is this person named John Kerry. Without him, nothing would have happened. But nothing. The mere fact that he came to the region for 6 times enabled us to reopen these negotiations, because it was very difficult for both sides to say no to the American Secretary of State after so many visits, exactly as it happened in the conference in the Madrid conference in '91. I didn't need the Americans in Oslo. I didn't need the Americans in the informal Geneva initiative. I didn't need the Americans in the agreement between Israel and Jordan. I didn't need them. But now I need them badly, because the two parties are a little bit lazy and passive. Sometimes, when you had a situation whereby the Israelis or the Palestinians are very eager to solve the problem, as it was in 92, 93, 94, you don't need the Americans, you don't need the Europeans, you don't need anybody. They can do it because they understand that this is their national interest. But if they are not eager enough, if they are passive, then you need a third party. And here was the third party. We are not getting to an agreement without a third party. There is no other third party. The Europeans are not there for us. They are not there for us. So you have the Americans. They are the only superpower in the world. They are the ones who will help us also economically when there is an agreement, because much money will be involved in the implementation of any agreement. And this is why I believe that the best thing is that the negotiations will take place in Washington. But do you need a real even-handed negotiator between the two parties? This is the role of the negotiator, or to be a strong enough one in order to have influence on the parties? Well, I think that for the Palestinians, the special relations between Israel and the United States is an advantage and not a disadvantage, because they know that if the Americans are convinced about something, it is easier for them to get it from Israel. I think that the special relations between Israel and the United States are very, very important for Israel, very important. It doesn't mean that from time to time we are not being spoiled by these good relations. But if you ask me whether I'm ready to give up on them, the answer is negative. There is no dichotomy between rights and needs. I think that you can never forget the rights, you can never put them aside, but they should never tie you to a situation in which there is no solution, which has been the situation in the last years. The Israelis are speaking about their rights, the Palestinians are speaking about their rights, and in the meantime they kill each other. In Israel, you have a rightist government. It is ideologically motivated and believes that building a settlement is the Israeli right, and that is what they are going to continue until there is another agreement. If there is an agreement, a permanent agreement, or even an interim agreement, which will prevent them from settling, then they will not settle. And this is why one of the reasons for me to urge for an agreement. We are speaking about the government, which is a very right-wing government with an ideology to build in the settlements, to build infrastructure, including the railways in the settlement. The whole world is against it. But as long as the world somehow is living with it, there is an acquiescence this way or another, they will continue. As long as there is no real border, as long as there is no Palestinian state, as long as there is no agreement, and as long as this government of Netanyahu is there, this will continue.